Hello and welcome to Shifting Lanes Garage. My name is Chad, and with me is frequent friend of the show, car enthusiast extraordinaire, and I'm just going to say it, the leading Corvette expert on the internet.
Hey, that's a bold claim. I like it.
Fight me in the comments. But we have, obviously, Greg can't join us today. Greg's got some stuff going on. So, Elliott has very, very kindly offered his time to help fill in. So, Elliott, thank you for that. And how you doing, buddy? What's new?
Good, man. It's just been crazy with both auctions and regular work. Regular work is like crazier than it's ever been. I feel like right now. So it's making like I just keep forgetting about YouTube stuff. But I've had a lot of. It's been a busy couple of months for sure. But it's good to be back on the cast. I always like hanging out with you guys, even when it's just you and me. I know Greg's always busy, but
Yeah.
happy to fill in for him.
Yeah, no, it's always without being overly glazy. It's always fun to have Elliot on the show. The I think the best part is we mesh well from an enthusiast standpoint. You have a much deeper knowledge base about most things as opposed to my hyper fixated levels of expertise in spaces. But we are we're good, and Sean is also here, and he's been spending the week as an extra in some Viking movie they're filming in West Virginia. So thank you for taking time out of your busy
Nice.
movie schedule, Sean, to join us. And yeah,
Let me see here. I gotta pull up the chat because I can't with the way we're streaming right now. I've got I can't see the other screen. So that's fun technology. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, let's get to it, man.
So
Now I can see the comment.
so it wouldn't be an Elliott show if we didn't speak about Corvettes. So if you notice from the thumbnail, at least 2/3 of the show is going to be dedicated to Corvettery.
There's a lot going on in the Corvette world. I mean,
There always
and I've had a
seems
lot
to
of
be.
experiences with them.
So, but I think we'll start things off with. Just want to make sure I have this stuff you sent me. But I figured if you've watched any of the content Elliot has appeared in, we've gone through the history of the Corvette. We've gone through some oddballs here and there. We've talked in depth about many different Corvettes. But I figured tonight would be a cool way is the weirdest Corvettes, because there's been some.
There's been some weird ones for sure, and definitely a lot of them are one-off, like kind of custom deals. And I'm gonna be pulling some of them out of like thin air. I just was thinking last night when we were talking about some of the weird ones I've seen, and it's, like I said, I appreciate the custom stuff. I'm kind of more of a purist myself, but I can appreciate when something is so wacky and out there that I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess I've never really seen a rat rotted Corvette, but the night is young. Um, and it's like I said, the first thing that came to mind was the one I sent you when we were talking about it last night, and it's in the thumbnail. It was from a collection we get to go to when I'm at Worldwide Auctioneers doing the enthusiast tour. We stopped at this one, which was like my holy grail of a museum. The guy, they described it as this guy has a lot of Corvettes, and I was like, okay, cool. But it turned out he had every Corvette from like 1953 to a certain time. It's like every Corvette from 53 to like 72, and like several different kinds in between there, which is like the best pre-modern Corvette years. But he also had some oddballs. And right in the middle of the collection, due to its size, was, I don't know what year, I'm guessing because the seat's a 94, 95, C4 limo. And it is just, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen because, I mean, you know me, C4s. And then it looked kind of stock, but it was just stretched. I've just never, I don't, it's got to be the only one. Like, it's so weird. And you'd think it was a large limo, and I sent you a picture of the inside for a reason because it cracked me up that it's this large stretched C4 And you'd think it's like, oh, they'd have the benches on both sides, you know, like a normal limo. They didn't. They just did 4 bucket seats in the back. So
with
like this,
and then just kept I mean,
yeah.
the I guess they still have to keep the trans tunnel.
Yeah, that's like I said. It's just like it seats slightly more people now, and it still had like the huge door sill on the back and everything. It was just like it just cracked me up. I mean, it was really cool and honestly so professionally done. It looked like it could have been factory. I mean, I wish I could have read a little bit more on it on who wanted this, what is it, and then yeah, the picture I sent you as well. It has like a little '90s TV in the back, which the only people who could really see it would be on the opposite side of the car from you. So you'd be looking at the equivalent of like a 4-inch screen.
It's like trying to read your cell phone from.
It's yeah. So it's like just there to because it's like, what else do limos have? And somebody was like, TVs, and they're like, ah, good, we should put one in here.
I mean, that's pretty. What was Shoot, I forget what I was watching. I think it was a documentary about the '94 Rangers and their like road to the Stanley Cup, and it was like Game 7 of the conference finals, and like there's people are that classic scene of people leaning into the watching the game through the TVs and the electronics store window, and the guy in the limo has the TV on, so people are all just like looking in to try to watch it. They're like watching hockey on like this big of a screen from.
That's amazing. But you know how baller it would have been to have live like TV. I mean, I know it was like antenna, but how cool it was to be able to like be mobile and watch TV. Like it's way before anything that we can do now. I mean, now we take it for granted because you've got entertainment wherever you go. But like that was crazy to have mobile TV.
Oh, it was. I remember one of my prized possessions as a kid was a little screen. Was probably about the same size as. It would help if the pictures I was trying to show, I actually transitioned the scenes.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even seeing.
I was like, let me talk about this picture that I'm looking at that nobody else is. But it was this little TV, and it was probably about a 4 or 5 inch screen. It was black and white. And maybe like 10 inches long or whatever, but it was a portable TV that could also run on, AC power or whatever. And that was my TV in my room as a kid. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever because this is back in the UHF days.
Oh, yeah.
So we when I grew up, we didn't get cable until I was like in high school, basically. But the coolest thing about UHF is you could pick up some cable stations. So I just remember, like, I'd have it in my room and I'd have it in a spot where I could get ESPN.
Ooh.
And I just left it. And I would just watch like, we all remember, like, most jock kids have the memory of you'd sit and you'd watch. In the mornings of your childhood, you'd just have Sports Center on repeat. It wasn't the talking head stuff they have now.
Right.
But I would just leave it because I could watch the games. I could watch, like, for us, like, Sunday Night Football was a thing because it was on ESPN. So, like, when the Jets or Giants played, it was on, like, Channel 11 or Channel 9.
Yeah.
So you could watch the game. And like, the best part is once like every other or every 4 years, the Broncos were the game on Sunday night playing the Jets or the Giants, which I'm a Broncos fan, figure that one out. But, and it was like, I couldn't miss it. I'd record it. I'd like wake up early. Yeah. I'd wake up early on Monday so I could watch it before going to school. It was just.
That's awesome, dude.
But, yeah, I feel like in the world of cars, almost every car has been limoized.
I believe that's pretty true. I mean, like I said, aside from every major car, every like car that you think, like whatever, because I've even seen in real life a Testarossa limo, which is still like crazy. I don't know what they did there. They had it at Bear Jackson a few years ago, but the ones that stand out, and it's actually funny you bring that up because it just like came up. Of course, we've seen PT Cruiser limos; they're hilarious. But there was like a fairly like an '02 Pontiac Grand Am limousine. That's the one where you're like, whoa, what? I mean, there were better platforms, there were cheaper platforms, and it was like just so specific and so like middle of the road. It's like you weren't impressing anyone by being like, check it out, Pontiac limo. You know, like
It's like, this is the economy limo. It's like,
you know what? Somebody just said Yugo limo, and you know what? Brooklyn is watching. I believe there is a smart car limo. I mean, it's probably severely underpowered, but it's just yeah. I think it's an American treatment to do to things is we limoize, we cut and stretch. And also, I do want to address because Steve did ask, just like you said, hey, I wanted to know what where the Hoopty Cast has been. My other, I guess, weekly or used to be weekly podcast was. The answer is we're kind of in a limbo right now. Tyler's got a lot going on, and yeah, we're just kind of we're taking a little pause. We still have all the stuff. I was with Tyler today. Like we didn't have a behind the scenes falling apart like a band in the the 80s or anything like that. But we're just taking a little pause while everything's going on. We will revisit once Tyler gets back from Barrett Jackson, and we'll just see. But yeah, also Sean's been really filling us in about this movie thing in the comments. I don't know if you've been looking that up.
I know he's been trying to explain it he's been doing it for the past couple days, and like in like the Shift Squad chat. Which for your sanity, we've haven't invited you to.
Thank you. It's for my sake. There's the Yugo limo, by the way.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. Did you find a smart car limo? Just out of curiosity, just because
there has to be one.
Sure. There has to be, because it's like it wouldn't even take that much to stretch it, because all the drivetrain is pretty much in the back, so you just kind of, even if you made it like a 4-seater, like the Corvette is, or I guess 6-seater. Yeah, the Yugo limo does seem like it would fall apart in the middle. Like even if they reinforced it properly, it just doesn't seem like it would go well. There has to be. Yeah, see, they exist.
Yeah, I mean, I think
we're pulling it up for you. Yeah, see, look at that. That's even cooler because it's 6-wheeled.
It's like so unnecessary too. Like,
yeah, it's not that stretched. Like chill.
But that is one thing. We're talking about weird Corvettes, and this was supposed to be like, not to sound like a certain other Kansasite, like, hey, other people on my podcast, here's a homework assignment, and I'll just react to it.
I know. I didn't do that much homework. I was like, I'm just gonna go off the top of my head and be like, I did see this one time.
I wanted to get your opinion on.
Yes.
Have you seen Shaq's C8?
I saw some stuff about it, how they had to stretch, because I've seen his previous cars where they like literally they kind of have to give it a limo treatment. I forgot. I saw it was just a short of somebody getting in it and showing like how much further back everything is. But it's pretty cool. They did a good job. Like it looks like, if you didn't know, and especially from pictures, maybe in real life it's different, but the proportions are fine. Like you can't really tell that it's
yeah, if it wasn't next to
a regular one,
you wouldn't know.
It's next to.
And I mean, he's done this with like a Gallardo,
famously, yes.
And I think he sold that because it scared the shit out of him or something like that. But
to tell him he shouldn't drive any modern supercars,
right? Like
they just got faster.
Yeah, they didn't slow down.
Yeah, yeah, that's just like I said. It looks. I mean, I guess in that top picture you can kind of tell, but you know what? Good for him. I like that he's like, I want one of these. Make me fit. Like that's a really cool. That's a level of car enthusiasm. Obviously it's a level of car enthusiasm that you have to be rich to pursue, but it's good to see. He could just be like, I guess I can only drive F650s, and like, and the only things I can fit in. But I like that he still is like, I'm gonna make one of these work, and then obviously has a shop do it. But whoever he has do it does a professional job. And yeah. I do kind of wonder if they had to like where they got the extra length, because they couldn't make another Targa top. It's not like they made a bigger Targa area. Like the gap between the windshield and the B pillar has to be like the same. So like, where did it?
I mean,
I guess it doesn't. But that seems like it would add so much more to the cost if you had to then make a custom one, like custom Targa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For like a skilled someone who's skilled with like sheet metal and stuff like, because I mean they had to make a super long door, right? Like,
Right. I guess, yes. I mean, so they would have to be longer. I'm just trying to think, like, I guess it's no expense spared type of build, where they're just like, screw it,
I mean, when you're Shaq and you made millions upon millions upon millions
Yeah.
in the NBA, and then
And then
you
all the
also
businesses.
happen to be a very good businessman, like you said, like it's just.
No, that's
This-
cool. And Sean's right. It pretty sure the C8 can smoke a Gallardo. And isn't it like a Z06 or an E-Ray on top of that? I can't even tell.
I mean, it definitely has the look, but who knows? On a car
Yeah, who
this
knows? At this
customized,
point,
like,
yeah.
I mean, for all we know, it has an Ecotech 2-liter in the back.
Yeah.
Like,
Might as well.
but no, like, I will say this, like, I could have had like, oh, woe is Shaq. He just has to go to sleep in his bed made out of literal $1 million bills,
Yeah.
like whatever. But like, imagine being into cars. Like, I think your buddy Vic has
Oh, yeah,
the
this
issue because
big guy.
he's
Yeah, he's just
tall.
tall.
So
Yeah.
like that, Miatas and stuff
They're
like
just
that.
they're just out of the question. I mean, my buddy Jacob, also in Arizona, he's 6'3" or 6'4", and he has trouble fitting in stuff. Although I did make him fit in and drive an Elise, which was funny. It was very uncomfortable for him, but it is possible. But yeah, no, it's an issue because his dad's really tall too, and they'll literally like instead of going to test drive cars, they'll go and like test sit. Be like, is this possible? And yeah, while being tall is a blessing, as a car guy, it can also be a curse for sure, without a doubt. Bet you Shaq's mattress is made by Nike, probably. Yeah.
No, not to get ridiculously off topic, but
You're like, you have a thing. I know who makes this mattress.
well, so when Shaq was playing in the NBA, he famously had a deal. He signed a shoe deal with Reebok,
Okay.
and then I forget who it was, but effectively, I don't think it was like anyone related to him, but like he was at some event and a woman comes up to him and basically berates him about how you make all this money from it and then you go ahead and you sponsor a shoe that these babies want but can't afford, blah 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 blah. Like talking about like the kids wanting like the Shaq shoes, like they want the Jordan shoes and all this.
Yep.
And he's like, and instead of being that, celebrity who's like, what do you know? He took it to heart. He canceled his deal with Reebok and started making affordable, good basketball shoes. That was one of his first like business ventures. So like instead of like at the time, I think a pair of his shoes or whatever was like $100. He was selling his shoes in like Walmart and all these places for like 30.
Huh. That's pretty cool. I like that. Somebody did mention, by the way, this is a Corvette thing as well. Same tour. Somebody said something about Michael Jordan, and I was like, oh yeah, Michael Jordan had some cool cars too, and he notably had a couple of C4 Corvettes back, because that was peak Jordan, was like the 90s,
Yeah.
And I got to see somebody had one of his old ZR1 that had like different wheels and stuff on it, but they were like the wheels that he put on. And it's like, I don't know how the hell he fit in that, because it's not like he's small.
He's 6'6". I mean,
Yeah, I was like,
that towers over us.
yeah, and the C4 was, I mean, like I said, that thing wasn't modified. Maybe it wasn't like a deal back then, but something. And he had a Testarossa, and trust me, you can't. They still, by that point with Testarossas and stuff, I've driven them. I'm not the world's tallest person, but if they feel a little cramped because they didn't start making them for American sizes until like pretty much the 430. They were like, oh yeah, this is what size we measure everybody around here, and you guys can just deal with it. So it's like, I can't believe he could fit and successfully drive a Testarossa.
I mean, he had a 959 too.
Yeah, also famously not a large car.
So I don't know, man. I mean,
Yeah, I guess it's like you could, it's what you're willing to, how much you're willing to scrunch in there. But yeah, it's also cool that all the Michael Jordan cars we just listed all stick because they didn't have,
yeah. Well, he's obviously into cars. I mean, despite the lawsuit, he's in NASCAR as an owner.
That's pretty cool.
So,
But yeah, no, this was This was a good start. Yeah, the Shaq's Corvette was a great idea to bring in there.
I honestly, when I mentioned this last night when we were talking about it,
Yeah.
it didn't even cross my mind. And then I was, then you like, even when you sent the limo, and then somehow talking about the limo.
That came up, but it is because it's like Steve said, it is essentially a limo because it had to be stretched. I mean, it just
Yeah.
doesn't seat more people.
Although I mean, I have absolutely no idea what the definition of limo is, and like, I don't know if I'm gonna. But
Yeah, but let's not worry about it. But I got what he's saying. One of the other thing that I mentioned you could pull up a picture of. This isn't. I wasn't even going to talk about this one, but it shocked me because of the year and everything else. But famously, if you look up Zora Arcus Duntow's personal Corvette, I would have thought the man would have had like a pristine '63 or like a '67 with a big block or something like that. It's a two-tone like '76, if I am correct, with like kind of weird wheels. Like it's got later wheels that weren't out yet, and that's like kind of one of like the cool things is like he drove around on the streets with the wheels that were going to be on like the '78 or something like that. But it's just I mean, I guess it's a sign of the times, and I have seen this one, so it does qualify for weird Corvettes I've seen. But it just, when I read the placard next to it, I'm like, no way, this is the father of the Corvettes, baby. It's this, like I said, two-tone blue, bad year, like kind of gaudy looking car. And I'm like, I thought he would definitely be driving around a street version of the Serve or something. It's like, I mean, look at this thing. It's just kind of like, I mean, it's whatever, but it blew my mind because at first in the museum, I don't know if they still display it or not, but there was just a space for it. And I'm like, why is this on display? It's like, what is this thing? And it's like, oh, okay, well, it's his personal car. That is cool, undoubtedly.
I mean, counterpoint. Enzo Ferrari famously drove the not at all popular Ferraris.
Yes, that is
For
fair. And
I mean,
I don't know when. No, Zora was still kind of alive. He lived for a long time. I was gonna say if this was like the newest Corvette he bought before he died, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I just think it's weird that, first of all, the guy had to have owned multiple Corvettes at some point, but for some reason, this is the one that they go, this is his. I'm like, I don't know. He worked for the company for decades, and there's no way he had just one.
right. I mean,
But
who knows? I mean, I will say this: if you talk to a lot of like the designers of like classic, they're an eclectic bunch.
yeah,
So it doesn't surprise me that he went for like the quote unquote wild paint scheme with the newer wheels.
yeah.
I still love these era cars with like the luggage rack on the back. Like I just
It is
couldn't
great.
imagine that in today's world. It's like, where does the suitcase go? On the car.
Tie it to the back of the car. You could get, and I still am holding out for one day. The '92. I forgot when they stopped offering it, but you could get it, and it was in the brochure. The '92 Corvette convertibles had luggage racks, and it looks. I think they look cool as hell. Because it's like it's so period. And it was like It's purely for style. It's got to be, but it's just so crazy to see like a car from the '90s with a luggage rack. You're like, what is going on with this?
I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, going back and like if looking at cars from the past, it's like, wow, stuff from the '90s. I grew up with that stuff, but man, it looks so. And like, there's that like, I don't know if there's a line when cars started looking modern or whatever, but it's like, or it's just a commentary on how design has changed so radically
Yes.
in modern automotive design. Like, number one, it's all crossovers. Number two,
Yes.
people are doing whatever it has to stand out. Like, look at Hyundai's design language right now.
Oh my god.
That's a love it or hate it type of a thing.
Which also pisses me off because every time I see one at night, I think a Lucid is coming my way, and it's always a Hyundai. Because
The
solid light line across the front. I'm like, hey, a Lucid, and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I do this. I do the same thing, and made worse by like in my area there are a couple Lucids rolling around.
Yeah, we have a couple in Wichita. What was I going to say? The other another one, and the reason I bring another one that I guess I've seen pictures of, but speaking of somebody in the GM thing that had kind of a wacky Corvette, I think Harley Earl's wife had a pink like '63 or '65 Corvette, it looks a little bit less like wacky. It's just like Corvette in color you couldn't get from the factory. But again, these are like, it's, you know, and I would absolutely do that. You know, it's like having a Corvette paint to sample. You know, you can't have one in this color, you know, but I did, and the factory did it. No one else can ever say that. But you know, when you're the boss man's wife, you want a pink Corvette, you're gonna get one.
I don't know if this is actually it.
I'll know it if I see it, I think, but
because a lot of them are just like,
yeah, they might not have any modern pictures of it.
Oh, here we go.
But yeah, I've definitely read about it in certain periodicals.
A lot of these,
yeah,
I love the automotive journalist's innate desire to simply have an image that's, don't want to do that. Let's make an image that is ridiculously tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see detail.
Exactly. And if you blow it up even a little bit, it's all pixels.
Yep. To the AI. No, but according to LSX, this is it.
Okay. Well, you know, like I said, it's not that great a picture. It's just one of those, oh yeah, somebody else had a custom Corvette.
No, I mean, they did correct me if I'm wrong, but Corvette used who owned what Corvette as a marketing thing, right? Like they very famously gave astronauts Corvettes and all that other sort of stuff.
I mean, what was, and it was a brilliant marketing move, because it's like, what was cooler than being an astronaut in the 60s, you know, or the 50s, you know, whatever. It was just like, that is the craziest, coolest thing. Like, space wasn't possible, and now all of a sudden it's possible, and there are people who go there. That's the coolest people, and we could attach our cars to those people. Like, what are the most badass people on the planet have? Corvettes. And you immediately grow up thinking, you know, as a kid, you're like, that's the coolest possible car, you know, especially back then. I know it worked on a huge generation of people who went on to own automatic C5 convertibles. But it really is brilliant marketing. And I mean, really, they used it with the 53s too. They gave those away to celebrities and stuff to jumpstart the whole. Look at this. Like, this person has one. You know, John Wayne, they gave one to John Wayne, and he couldn't fit in it. So, speaking of people who couldn't fit in cars, so he did not like it.
Tradition is old as time, apparently, with Corvette. Yeah.
And I'll say the 53 through 55s, you have to kind of floss yourself underneath the big steering wheel there. But they're not for big people. My head sticks out over the windshield a little bit. So, I can't imagine. I'm like, John Wayne was a big dude, too.
I remember my dad talking about that because his 59 had a massive steering wheel on it. Mm-hmm. Because I don't believe his had power steering.
And that was the point, is it gives you more leverage. Yeah. And it doesn't feel as big when you're on those. The first reasonably sized steering wheel Corvette is probably like 63. They got a reasonably sized steering wheel. But 53 through 62, it was an absolute, like, boat, you know, yoke, like, where, you know, with the spokes around it and everything. It's what it feels like.
Yeah, my dad was telling me how, like, the spokes in it they weren't like chamfered or anything. They were just hard line. So he's like, you couldn't, like, he would see me do like one of these, and he's like, you couldn't do that in the Corvette, because if you hit a bump and it went back, it was your skin was going to be removed before that thing stopped.
I remember, just messing around with them, like, as like a kid, just sitting behind the steering wheel, like you know, when I was just screwing around in my dad's garage. And I think I did cut myself on one, just because they just are. They just, like, drilled them out, and that was it. It's now, like, there's a hole in the spoke. But gosh, what was I gonna say? Speaking of 53s and 54s, I don't know if I had a picture of this, and I didn't look last night. One of the ones that you can just use your imagination. Imagine a regular 53. We had this last auction that I was at, or doing stuff with. We had a real 53, which is always a pleasure, because I like to try to. I have driven now like 4 of them, maybe 3, but that's a lot of. That's of the 300. It's cool to even drive one. And we had one. It was beautiful. It was perfect. It had all the NCRS awards. Blah blah blah. 54s are mechanically identical. They just don't bring the same kind of value, but that's what I have the most experience with. and we have different areas depending on what days cars are selling at the auction. And if you know, even though you haven't been to a major auction, um, you can imagine the cars we sell on Thursday are not the Saturday evening cars. It's just a
Right.
different kind of thing. And we try to line them up in this facility because it's this massive building, and we have them all inside. So you can look at over 300 cars inside. It's amazing. It's just like a never-ending car show. Uh, and they kind of start with like the furthest away cars are Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, and then Friday. And like this, there was a 54 Corvette that was kind of like Friday day. And I was like, wait, and I looked at it, I was like, it looks right. And I looked under the hood, it's got the right engine. It was a little later, so it had the different air cleaners. And I was like, why is this not as a Saturday car? Because it still should be a six-figure car, even if it's low six figures. And I just couldn't. Then I opened it up and I was looking around, and like I said, everything was there, everything was stock. And I looked, and somebody had swapped in a later four-speed manual, and left the six-cylinder, left all of the instrumentation. That was the only thing they did. I was like, that is so bizarre that it's like stuck with me forever. And I had to like tell them, I was like, did you notice this was a manual? And they were like, oh no, what the hell? I was like, yeah, well, who did this? Like, and I can kind of see, and it guts me when I do see it. You know, when people take a 54 and they go, well, I'm going to LS swap it and do all this stuff. And, you know, if you're going to go full, like, the only acceptable version of that is the Kindig Roadsters. Those are really cool. And they also build their own chassis, so they're not hacking up real 54s to do that. But this one was, like I said, it was a real 54, all original, numbers matching, except for an important part. And, I mean, I can imagine it made it feel more... I can't even imagine. The Power Glide's not a bad transmission, so I just don't know what they were angling for there. But I did make sure I drove it on stage to do my little talkie poo, so at least I can technically say I've driven a stick shift 54 Corvette. I can't really say if it was any good or not because I only drove it a few feet, but you know, you can imagine. And like I said, I think the idea was to make it maybe the sports car it was always supposed to be, but again, the Power Glide is a fine transmission as far as automatics go. As you know, in the drag racing world, everybody uses, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
what you do.
That was the other.
It's two gears. Like, it's never in the wrong gear.
Well, that was the other thing. My dad's 59 had a 3-speed manual.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's why manual's so easy for you. It's like, all right, just pop it into second, and I'm good.
Yeah. I've long said Corvettes are the easiest manuals to drive because they just have all the torque in the world. They're really easy. Like, I'd say it's, I mean, now, the commenters have to let me know on this, whether you should let somebody do this, learn stick shift, but you've given an empty parking lot and you're teaching a new teen how to drive, a new driver teen. I think it would be easier to learn the fundamentals on, like, a C5 Corvette manual than it would be on the equivalent manual Civic. Like,
it's always easier to learn. I absolutely would agree with that because V8 torque, especially like an LS or LT based V8 torque, you don't really, if you're on level ground, you don't need any input from the throttle to get the car rolling.
It's just pure, you can feel the action of feeling it and just letting the car do it. You don't have to be like balancing throttle while you're trying to learn the action of slowly, feeling the clutch.
Meanwhile, a small displacement 4-cylinder, you're going to have to learn that you could probably still get it rolling. It would probably take a little more effort, but you're going to have to learn that dance. Now, I would argue in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That the person who learns on a Civic versus the person who learns on a Corvette is more versatile.
For sure. I would agree there. But I'd just like to say is I'd get your fundamentals down on the Corvette and then go, all right, now actually let's spice it up and toss to a Civic and be like, this is actually hard. Yeah, advanced mode is driving this smoothly. I think somebody could reasonably step into it and get it going, but it would be not the smoothest transition in the world. And Steve made a comment here. He needs to get a job rolling cars up for auction. Believe it or not, I think even at like Mannheim auctions and stuff, I think you can just volunteer to do it. I don't think there's a high barrier to entry. The only difference between when I do it and when the other guys do it is, like I said, I'm kicking a volunteer out of the car to go up there, and because I'm doing a whole talkie and drivey thing. It's a little different. You wouldn't have to do that, honestly. It'd be kind of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it'd be like, but I think it's something you can just do. And I'm sure you guys have auctions out in your area. You guys have, I think GAA, and there's a few others that. I mean, there's Meekums and stuff. Surely out that direction.
That's an excellent question. I'm not at all, unfortunately, plugged in to the auction scene.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should more so than I am, but
no, you keep up with a lot more racing than I do, so it's like there's only so much room for current events and knowledge,
Yeah, this only has a finite amount of memory, and I probably use too much of it on racing and probably at this point Coyote engine research.
That's true. You do have a wealth of that knowledge.
The thing is I've had to do 2 of them. Well, technically 3. Well, this will be my 3rd Coyote. Had actually some interesting conversations about that with a couple people over the last couple days. Nothing really that I really want to go with as big a displacement as I possibly can, and the people who actually know how to make power out of these engines they're like, yeah, but here, get this. Like, basically they're telling me, get a Gen 3 short block, make sure it has the Roadrunner crank and forged rods and forged pistons. It'll be like $6,700, and then spend the money you would have spent on the bigger displacement short block in the heads. Because that's where the horsepower is going to come from. Cam, springs, retainers, having the engine have the ability to spin, because if you can't make more torque, you just need to make torque longer, and that's how you make more horsepower. I'm not telling... I'm more mentioning that for the... Who am I kidding?
But now I want to call horsepower long-form torque. Which it is. It's just funny to think about it. It's like...
Yeah, I mean... Making diesels the short... the TikTok of automotive engines?
Yes, diesels are.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, having conversations with Dad, and I mean... Did you... before I continue with this, I don't want to cut off... Because, if you did any sort of looking into this, I don't want to, make it feel fruitless.
No, it's not crazy. This is just oh yeah, and then there's this one. And I only had, a few that I could, show concrete. But so don't worry. I've got, there's other ones you can look up, but yeah, so just don't worry. I've got, like I said, we can go as long or as short on this segment as you want.
Fair enough. We're going to squeeze this for... No, I'm kidding. But no, it's... only reason I ask, only reason I mention that, and the only reason I make this extremely tortured transition is I was talking with a buddy of mine about, coyotes and stuff, and how he happens to be pretty decent friends with the guy who owns Fast Forward Race Engines. They build some of the most badass fucking coyotes on the planet, and everything, and all this. But he was also... It was funny because I was talking with him while this whole drama stuff was going on with Cleetus and Grannas racing.
Yeah, I loved... Yeah, that was so great. And like I said, I got caught up with most of it through your reel. So.
Yeah, and I mean, but in that, I was watching that. That was one of the first online beefs. I guess the best way to put it. I watched in real time while a friend of mine who was there was telling me because basically, if you don't know what happened, FL2K happened this past weekend. It's one of the biggest events in drag racing that doesn't have an NHRA or IHRA or GMDA or IRA.
Or some other acronym.
It's Texas 2K, FL2K World Cup. It's technically sort of the biggest... They're the biggest races in America for grassroots. But they have pro mods in there that cost $500,000. So how grassroots is it really? these guys are spending $50K on engines, but there's a lot of classes that are very much grassroots. A 10.0 index, an 8.5 index, like all this other sort of stuff. So it's one of the biggest events of the year, and I would argue, well, more interesting than pretty much any. If you want raw speed, NHRA is obviously it. Nothing's going to touch a top fuel car doing 340 miles an hour. But for a variety of cars, setups, engines, all this stuff, World Cup and FL2K for sure. So Cleetus, obviously being his shop is measured in yards away from Bradenton Motorsports Park, of which he's a part owner with the guy Victor Alvarez. So he entered the stick shift class with Leroy. Everybody knows Leroy. It was the exoskeleton Corvette that he famously had a company that does monster truck bodies do a body for.
It does look hilarious.
It's so funny. And the paint renderings, once it gets the actual paint job on it, it'll be even more hilarious. But Leroy has been a very successful stick shift car. I believe it was the first stick shift Corvette in the 7s.
Right, which all the Corvette guys got mad about that at the time because it didn't have a body on it.
It's it doesn't have a body. It's that's a disadvantage, you morons.
Yeah.
This thing has the aerodynamic properties of a satellite dish.
The body came off before all the power adders did. It was just an NA go-kart. It was sweet, and it's just been transformed and transformed and transformed.
Exactly. But he's won World Cup in it. He's won FL2K. He's won LS Fest. The car, in its own right, for as ridiculous as it is actually a very successful race car.
Yeah.
So he had a bunch of other cars racing in different classes, but the crux of the story is that he was in the stick shift class, and this is the stick shift shootout, which is basically the fastest of the fastest for stick shift. I think there are some other faster stick shift cars that weren't there, but this is the fastest stick shift cars. And you've been able, with Cleetus, to watch the evolution. They were doing 8s, then they were doing 7s, now they're in the 6s. And in probably 2 to 3 years, they're probably going to be knocking on the door of 5s, which is
crazy.
Stupid how fast these things are, especially rolling your own gears. So Cleetus qualified second. The number one qualifier was this team called Grannas. And they have this wicked Supra. It makes over 2,000 horsepower, all the boost, all the nitrous. It's a sick car. The owner, he seems like we'll just say he's a smidge sensitive.
Well, I bet he's more sensitive now.
Oh, oh my gosh, has he been dragged on the internet? Because at the semifinal round, 3 of the 4 cars showed up. Cleetus' opponent, and Grannas' opponent, but Grannas didn't show up. Now, in stick shift racing, braking is also very common. So everybody just assumed...
You're really hard on components when you're just ripping gears as fast as you can.
Exactly.
With that kind of power and, right.
Yeah. So everybody assumed he broke. So Cleetus wins his semifinal. Another red Corvette wins the it's by run, obviously. It's actually a 6-second drag and drive car, stick shift, which is insane.
That's cool.
And then Cleetus goes on to win the whole event. It's this big deal. They're celebrating, as they should. You just want a big event. It's not like Cleetus just goes and shows up to races. He knows he can win. He takes on the challenge.
For sure.
And everybody's excited. Everybody's stoked. And then Joel over at Grannas really starts saying, "We didn't break. We never got the call to the lanes. Blah blah blah." Effectively insinuating that it was the track, not only the track's fault, but there was some implication in the tone and the way he said things that it wasn't necessarily the track's fault only, that there was something else going on, that it may have been, dare I say, intentional. Which Cleetus owns that track with Victor. They're 50-50 partners on that.
Which doesn't look good for his in his argument's defense, I'm not defending him, but like to sprinkle the seed of doubt where you go, hey, it is a little unfair that the owner of this, track, would be very in touch with what's going on and would intentionally leave us out. It's like there's that would get people's minds going. I like I said, I see where that argument is headed.
The biggest thing is that, number one, those guys aren't about it. They want to earn it. Like, if you spend any time talking to them or anybody who's close to them, they want to earn it. Not trying to sound like a fanboy. And number two, strictly...
That's everything I've ever heard about him, so...
And number two, strictly, down the line, strictly as a business owner, Bradenton is one of the fastest, most well-known drag strips in the country. They very famously have a marketing campaign or slogan that, I don't care what you ran at your track, you'll be faster at Bradenton. People come from all over to race at Bradenton. Not to mention FL2K, Snowbirds. They have a Pro Mod series. They do an NHRA event. Like, they're a legit track, and they're one of the tracks that are actually thriving. To manipulate race results at an event they're hosting would be business suicide.
That would be very dumb, yes.
Or business unaliving themselves. Sorry, algorithm gods. And so, like, obviously they didn't take the insinuation and the whole it's the track's fault kindly at all. I urge all of you to go to find Victor Alvarez on Facebook and just follow the thread of what he was saying throughout the whole thing. The dude is a next level troll, and it's hysterical.
Love that.
So
where are we now? Because it was
where we are now is, as everyone knows, Cleetus called out Grannas. Grannas did some gerrymandering, whatever. Finally accepted it. And they raced yesterday. And it was such a spectacle, man. Like, all of the road, those like temporary road signs that say lane closed ahead, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, like, everything that had a screen that they could program said stick shift to the lanes. Like, everything. It was... You pull in, and there's a truck pulling a trailer with this... those trailers that have the giant LCD screens? It says, stick shift to the lanes, race at 4 o'clock. Everywhere. Every 10 minutes, they had someone on a bullhorn announcing it. And then...
just to really make sure.
Oh, they were really giving... And, like, the online chatter was also... This guy got... Like I said, he got dragged. All he had to do was... And, like, the craziest thing about it was, the dude said we didn't hear it. He was filming a YouTube video, and in the YouTube video, you can hear it clear as day.
It's so good.
So, they get to the track. Now, Manuel of Midnight Performance, who does a lot of the all-wheel drive F-150s for the no-prep stuff, like, stupid, redonkulously, like, low 4-second in the 8th mile F-150s. These things are nuts. He had just been up there for the no prep event. He sent down a mariachi band for I don't understand the inside joke. But and the mariachi band's playing the whole time. It's this big huge event. It's on Freedom Plus. Absolute cinema for one race. So in the race itself, let me see if I can actually
I did see the mariachi band, and I also had my questions about what they were digging at there. I thought it was just ridiculous to have a mariachi band on the starting line.
Yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing. It was just ridiculous, and again, it's Manuel from Midnight Performance who sent it.
Yeah,
and he's a character, because I don't know how much about drag racing you really know, but and I'm not an expert by any.
You certainly know more than I. I mean, like I said, as far as current names and stuff like that. Now,
and I'm learning a lot of this stuff on my own too, because I'm not in the drag racing scene. I'm not a part of it. But Manuel, he's part of the no prep scene, and he does a lot of grudge racing. And grudge racers are absolutely savage when it comes to certain stuff, like when it comes to trolling, when it comes to stuff like just the bets they'll make. My buddy of mine was telling me that one dude was like was pissing him off, so he he bet the guy his steering wheel.
That's pretty funny.
Like, there's been bets where they bet the trailer hitch, so that the guy has to go and find a trailer hitch to take his rig home.
Oh,
like,
my God.
They're savages. So there's got to be a backstory, but that's like Manuel is a grudge racer. He's quote unquote a no prep racer, which is kind of the street racer kind of mentality. But they do it. They usually do it on like the big end of the tracks where there's obviously no prep. So anyway, I'm gonna pull up the slip because the slip tells a really interesting story about this race.
Let's take a look here. I saw just a screenshot of it, which obviously doesn't do it justice of the race, but I was like, oh.
But it does. The race itself, it just, if you watch the video and you don't really know, it looks like Cleetus just gets him on the big end. American V8 muscle. That Supra makes a crap ton of horsepower.
Without a doubt. Super's nuts.
I wanted to bring up the slip because
I'm looking on my phone. I'm not trying to be.
I just want to Photoshop glass, like the reading glasses.
It looks like, because I have to look at it on this. This is how big we are. It's because I can't see it on our screen, so I'm just like.
Let me do. Here, let me do.
Good. Let's not. It's working. Let's not mess with anything.
Okay. But at any rate, if you look at the slip itself, oh fucking A. Cleetus won. The first number is the reaction time. Cleetus was out by almost 310 or 300ths. However, he ran a faster 60 foot. But then the 330. So Cleetus is on the left, in case you were wondering. By the 330, Supra's coming. By the 8th, he almost has a 10th on him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then the 1,000 foot, all of a sudden it's slowing down. And then really what tells the entirety of the story is look at the ET in the mile an hour. Yeah. Cleetus went 217. Grannas went 144. He lost.
He let out.
His motor broke. He lost the whole.
Well, there you go. I was gonna say. I was like, because he's going 150 or 164
at the 8th.
At the 8th, yeah, and then
So, Cleetus took the win, and of course all the Grannas guys are saying, well, not Grannas himself. He said, "Hey, we broke. It's part of racing." He was the day of that race, the grudge race. He was a decent dude. None of the whininess that happened. Cleetus was on the up and up. Thanked him for coming out. We settled it on the track. Let's put it all behind us.
That's great. Love to hear it.
So the race. So obviously Cleetus wins the race. I forgot to mention that this race was $15,000 a piece. So it was a $30,000 pot.
Wow.
I mean, granted, like these guys cough and find $15,000 for their race cars.
True.
Again, we're talking about it
for us normal folk. We would not gamble that kind of money.
No. So, and I think, and Cleetus was very, hey, we settled it. Look forward to racing him at World Cup. It is what it is. It's just, from you talking to a lot of people, it's a very valuable lesson about running your mouth without really thinking about it. Because the dude said there was something. He didn't get the call. He said there was not a second call, but the call is done on the PA. There's a radio station you tune in for all track callouts, like there's at a lot of tracks. Freedom Plus had it, which is the streaming service, which all of these guys have. Like they're obviously watching that. And there's text alerts.
Oh, well, geez. I mean, I know it's loud there, but you feel. And the other thing is, I'd feel, and I.
Oh, the speaker system is branded. It's a $250,000 new speaker system.
So that's a little pretty crystal clear.
Cleetus can hear at his shop like a mile and a half down the road.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I would say if I made even the semifinals, hell, even if I was just still in the race, I'd be like asking around, being like, about when should we be ready? Like, like what kind of time frame am I looking at here? And if somebody was like, I have no idea, anytime from 10 minutes to 2 hours, I'd be like, okay, I'd just be like constantly like wondering. But generally, they will tell you like an approximate window, like
right, and they did also say stick shift finals 4:00. So I would probably have an alert on my phone for like 3:30, 3:45.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so that's even worse than I thought. It was like it was for sure at 4:00. I was like, okay.
I mean, obviously with drag racing, nothing's ever
exactly. Because so much can happen. Yeah,
right.
I get it. But it's just one of those. I would absolutely be asking like, roundabouts when would you guys say? Like, I'm not just gonna go. Well, I'll wait around until I hear. I'd be like,
and the craziest thing about the whole thing is that the only other people, the entirety of the event, the 3-4 days of the event, the only other people who missed a call to lanes was either by choice, like in qualifying, to where they were like, no, we ran our good run, I'm not going to beat my equipment up. Or people who had broke.
Yeah.
Grannas was the only ones who flat out missed it. And, like, I know as a pro racer, as someone who's highly successful, I mean, his car's PB is 0.2 of a second faster than Garrett's PB. So it's a fast car.
And definitely competitive in that.
It was the number one qualifier for a reason. I understand missing the call is incredibly embarrassing, but just don't. Like, know when to pick your battles. And, like, maybe when you're going up against somebody who has millions of fans.
Yeah, try to keep your...
because...
keep a good face on. Because like... You're going to hear about it.
Oh my gosh, and like the memes, someone took pictures of his car had pictures of his car and made a fake Facebook marketplace listing of it.
Oh, of course.
I mean, he's getting, but their
memes are even showing up for me now just after watching your reel. I think or it's just that prevalent.
It's like that massive on the internet. Yeah, like these back and forths were getting thousands of reactions. And I got lucky because I like I said, I was kind of, I had to record video, then re-record, then re-record, then record again, then because it was changing that fast. And so I happened to get the video out right at sort of the night's conclusion of events.
Perfect.
So it was just a perfect storm. So number one, this is going to make World Cup like must-see TV. I'm even thinking about going to World Cup this year.
Nice.
Because it's going to be so cool. And then lastly, I think one of the funniest pictures from the event, and there's better ones, but I couldn't find one in the time I had. But you can't tell, but this is Victor. The track owner with Cleetus. If you look here, his shoes came off. Because if you've ever walked on the starting line of a drag strip...
Yeah, it's sticky as hell.
They literally put a form of glue on it. And everyone who knows, if you've ever walked on a prep surface on a drag strip, once you lose your shoes, the socks are gone. The next step you take, gone. So he literally got so excited, he jumped out of his shoes, lost his socks, and then he made a post like a couple hours later. He's like, seriously, guys, what do you use to get the VHT and rubber off of your cars that's also safe on my feet?
Seriously. That's awesome. But I love that.
And then, like, the last thing I'll say, like, just to kind of put a wrap on this one is, what this is for, like, the sport. Because it brought so many new eyeballs. Like, if you're a fan of Cleetus, you kind of understand the grassroots drag racing scene, all that sort of stuff. But, like, this grudge race brought it, like, what? I know Cleetus, but I don't pay attention. I don't watch his content religiously, right?
Sure.
It just brought so many eyeballs to the point where 2 hours after the race, at like around 6 o'clock, Garrett had already finished editing the video and had it uploaded.
Oh my goodness. Hey, strike while the fire's hot or the iron's hot, you know?
Oh, that video was going to destroy no matter when he posted it. But the fact that that was mind-blowing.
That is crazy.
And
he had to have just gone straight home and just gotten in the zone.
And then, like, as of the moment, or as of the last time I checked on this, it had over 1.1 million views. on YouTube. And the only reason I say that, and what I'm like drawing it into like the sport of drag racing and stuff and all that, is the NHRA was stoked that a recent event got 1 million views.
Yeah, that sounds
for a whole NHRA like Sunday or something like that.
Everybody's realizing what's happening now. It's like you guys. It's like they were a few years too late, but it's across the board with sports and everything, and even the auctions. They're like realizing like, oh, no one's tuning in on cable anymore. Everyone's watching it on some form of online, some form of streaming, and yeah, good job, guys.
Yeah. So no, it was one of the, again, it was one of those things where it was like, this is crazy cool. Like I said, I was like, I'm literally, I don't want to say in the middle of it because I wasn't, but it was really cool to like see this stuff happen in real time.
But you got to watch it unfold as it was happening instead of find out what happened. So
right.
really
And
cool.
like, and like have my buddy like, yo, go check out like,
right. And yet that's what I'm saying. You had somebody that was like literally in the mix, like kind of there. That's so cool. Like, and I know I've only gotten to be a part of a few things like that. And it's so much more exciting, and you feel so much more of a sense of ownership watching the events unfold live rather than being caught up on. Because if I, as a guy who got caught up on, I still think it's like hilarious, awesome, engaging. I can't even imagine how much more engaging it would have been to be like, what? That's happened. Oh, that's happening right now. So I definitely understand what you mean, and I'm so glad that you got to like do that. And then, like I said, you hopefully, I don't know what that reel did for you, but like hopefully that thing did well because you got it off right in time for the perfect summary.
No, it was in a 24-hour time frame. It was the best reel we've ever done.
Wow.
It's not the most viewed, but in 24 hours it did one on Facebook. It did 1.5 mil. On TikTok, it did over 400,000. On YouTube, where like I seem to hit a 10K hard cap on any of my successful videos, which is infuriating. But apparently, that's something that happens.
And you take the same file and upload the identical file to all three, right?
Yeah, which is great for now. Like it used to be, YouTube was 60 seconds, Meta was 90, and TikTok was 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah, that's confusing. Now it's just like...
Now it's literally one video, which, dude, has made it so much easier. But
what did YouTube increase their shorts cap to?
It's 3 minutes now.
Okay, good. As a person who still needs to make more shorts,
It was eye-opening because, like, it was a perfect storm because the way I like to tell a story is I like to build the context.
Yeah.
And then say what happens. And it's really hard to do that in 60 seconds.
It sure is.
So, I don't know if that's... And again, this isn't tooting my own horn or anything. But we've had a really good run of it lately with viewership on our reels, especially on like Facebook and TikTok.
That's great, man.
And I almost wonder if... Number one, it's because I've made a concerted effort to do some form of content every day since July 31st. Or no, July 30th. Which, don't ask... I think I did a video, it popped off, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm making daily content for as long as I can keep my sanity.
Yeah, I wish I could do that. Even if it was a reel a day for a week, I'd be like, whoa, who is this guy?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where definitely learning what you're good at, going into and then executing that and then figuring out the workflow definitely makes that a lot harder to go from, say, and I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, but I'm just saying, like, for someone like yourself, it would be a little more, even though you're like king of the one shot.
Yeah.
You know,
we'll
it's
cross my shorts career when I get to it. I just, like I said, I got to get regular work to slow down. And
yeah,
I have more videos planned, and I've got a Volvo video coming up. And
the internet will love that.
That's gonna boost the viewership, and then I've got a new addition to the channel. Let's just say that.
Ooh. Did one of Car Trek used to own it?
No, believe it or not. No, I wish. No, maybe I don't wish.
No, I don't know.
Short track cars. We'll see.
No, that's cool, man. I can't wait to see what it is. Yeah. Steve goes, can't wait for Cleetus to get more ARCA in and possibly Truck Series next year. Yeah, I mean, it's really going to come down to how much, because he's not going to be a regular anytime soon, how much time he dedicates to the sim. Because believe it or not, these sims now, even like in iRacing, are very, like, I was just listening to an interview with SVG today, and he was talking about how good the sims are for helping him learn like ovals and stuff. Not just like the track itself, but how rubber goes to like all these little tiny things.
That's cool. There was a Frankie Muniz short where he had to fly from wherever the heck he lives to the factory like sim area and do sim like all day and then fly home. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Just get your own sim setup.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's.
I know they have the factory ones are probably nuts.
I mean, not for nothing. Max Verstappen's setup is something. If we had a little bit of money, we could emulate. It seems to be working out pretty well for him.
Exactly, and everything's
He's another guy who's just fucking not human.
For real.
I mean, what he did at oh god damn it. Sorry, I'm trying to open something and it just insists on opening in Photoshop. I know people have no context to that, but
I mean, you know, it's just like when you accidentally select the wrong program to open with, and then it just defaults to that forever, and you have to like.
Yeah, it's like how long do I? It's like,
God, why is this opening in it? Yeah, this file in Internet Explorer.
But yeah, right. Like, why is my PDF opening in?
Yeah.
Netscape.
Yeah.
No, but like, I mean, Jesus Christ, what he did. Now, I'm not taking anything away. Like, also another cool thing about that was, you remember you've probably seen or at least know about the Gran Turismo movie, right?
Yes.
So
I haven't seen it, but I know the, yeah.
You know, Jan Middelborough or Martinborough, GT Academy winner, blah, blah, blah. Had that massive accident at the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't really heard much. He's a factory Ford driver now. And he was on the podium with Max as in the second place car.
Wow.
Also, I'm enjoying it while it lasts because the, firm hand of balance of performance is going to be coming next year. Mustang GT3 cars are dominating across the world right now. Just throwing it out there.
Not surprised.
But Steve goes, I think Cleetus has his own sim rig. Yes, he does. I don't know. I think it's still assembled. I know with his new house and hangar, which is absurd. He has a man cave where the sim and stuff is going to be going into where he can dedicate it. So whenever that finishes or whatever. But that's the biggest thing is he's not going to get a lot of real world seat time just because of everything that he does. Yeah. And frankly, he'd have to be really passionate about doing it. Because it would drastically change his YouTube channel. Like, massively. Like, he's not... If he were to go full-time, he's not doing... he's not doing a lot of the drag racing. He's probably not doing... a lot of the other stuff and everything because of the nature of... NASCAR season ends in November, starts in February. That's a ridiculously short off season. So, and I don't know if he wants to necessarily do that because I think part of what maybe he does, maybe if he got like a good seat with a good team and he actually displayed, I'm not saying he doesn't have talent, but everything, the stars would have to align. Now, one thing, Steve goes, his hangar mansion is nuts. Yeah, I mean, the hangar itself, that door is, the door is freaking insane. And then you'll appreciate this as a Corvette enthusiast, Elliot. His swimming pool is the Chevy bow tie.
Hell yeah, I love that.
So,
That's see the things that money can buy. You can do cool stuff like that.
oh my gosh, I was just trying. I was
The
just
yours
going
wouldn't
through.
be that hard to do. You could get a Ford oval.
Yeah,
A lot of swimming pools can be, I guess it'd have to be a very specific oval, but
yeah. Well, he was talking about doing the hot tub with the Ford oval. I don't think they ended up doing it that way,
yeah.
but
It'd be kind of cool though if you from above, on your liner or however you do it, it is a dark blue and the Ford script is at the bottom. So like if
yeah,
you did do an overhead view, like it does look like somebody just has a big blue oval like in their yard. That would actually be really cool. I'm not even
I
not even
mean,
mad about that.
and it would probably be an easy sell for like a significant other too. It's like, what shape are we doing the pool? Well, it's going to be oval but
classy.
long. It's going to be like a normal pool, just ovular
Yeah.
in shape.
Just don't ever look down when we fly over the house.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
stay out of my chopper.
Right.
Do not get to the chopper.
Aha. Okay. On the well, go ahead.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wanted to talk about the
Then the last thing is Elliott.
yes.
Are you familiar with the Subaru Brat?
Yes, I am. I do think they're. I mean, it's if nobody else is, it's kind of the Subaru little truck thing. It's two-seaters with an optional two seats in the bed. T-tops. It says Brat down the side. They're cool. I mean,
It's
they're
like
kind of quirky.
it's like a rally car and an El Camino had an illegitimate offspring.
Like I said, I don't know why it makes no sense for Subaru to have ever made it, but they are kind of cool. There's a couple of guys in town here that have them and love them. I mean, there's one of the guys that's in my car group that legitimately like kind of takes his on mild trails and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, they have a niche. They have a following. I think people have always kind of thought they were neat. And like I said, it's the only thing where there's like I think you can legally sit in the bed because it has seats and like 3-point mounts for the seat belts or whatever when you have the optional bed seats.
Now,
Yes.
before we get too far along in the actual story, do you know why those seats were put in the first place?
Man, you know what? I do remember hearing a story and I've completely forgotten it. I don't know if it was like a donut thing or something a long time ago, but it has been ejected from my memory. So enlighten me.
The chicken tax.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is why we don't have a Volkswagen truck.
Yes,
And everything else.
we don't get the Hilux, and why light duty vehicles in the United States have to meet a ridiculously, like, to the point where I don't know if they still do it, but the Ford Transit van was assembled in Turkey as like a van to haul people. Then it goes to an assembly plant in America, gets all that stuff removed, has blank sheet metal put in place of the like all this randomly stupid stuff
To get around that.
to get around that. But part of the rule is that if it had two seats, it had to it was susceptible to this tax. Well, Subaru's like, well, we're not going to sell it, or let's just put seats in the back. And that's what they did. And that's how they got around the tax. So,
So funny.
but why the Brat is pertinent to our story, our conversation today, if I can just, is apparently Travis Pastrana wanted to turn one into a Gymkhana car, so he did.
Love that.
And he's hooning it around Bathurst this weekend.
Right, and so I guess I spoiled it around my own self, but I also, and this is me plugging you. I watched your reel on this also today, and it's wild. I'm assuming they're in this clip that you just showed. That's got to be like part of the video they're making because it's like he's drift entering as cars are like actually going on the track. But I love the look of this thing, dude. It's
arguably way it's. I would rather something that looks like this than an El Camino.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always looked cooler than an El Camino, but it's like I'm just trying to think of what it is, like the Huna truck or whatever the that Ken Block had. It's the Brat version of that. I mean, like it's wide, it's got the wheels. I'm a little fascinated. Like I didn't think Hoonigan was really doing anything anymore. I didn't know what their like if they had the finances to do something like this, or if somebody else is doing this.
Well, this is a partnership with Bathurst with V8 supercars, the series itself. So I'm guessing.
Well, so are they like chipping in for the development? Because if it's anything like the Unicorn or the Truck, that was like a crazy, you know, one-off, like some crazy engineered tube chassis thing.
Yes.
You know?
I don't know this is on very much on par with the the legacy he did in the last one, that last Gymkhana, this one apparently has the exact same engine, driveline, etc. Obviously, it's a shorter wheelbase. And it's... How do I put this? The Huna truck and the Unicorn were from scratch tube frame vehicles that cost a ton. I think this was strip Brat down to bare metal, remove everything we can, put roll cage in Brat.
But in a lot of ways, that's really cool.
I mean, it's still a six-figure build.
Oh, undoubtedly. But like I said, in a lot of ways, that's really cool because it's like there's still some Brat in there. You know, like there's some part of this that started out as a Brat.
Yeah,
rather than being a tube chassis car that gets a skin to make it look like a wider version of, you know, another existing car. Like it's kind of cool. And it's probably, without the kind of financing that they used to have, the only way that this is possible. So I'm here for it.
And then if you notice that it's been 3 years, Hoonigan in its prime was churning out like one a year.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty great.
So you're amortizing the cost over 3. Like, I get it. But I also see a world where Hoonigan is like, man, nobody watches our stuff anymore. What happened? And they don't put 2 and 2 together that maybe you shouldn't have chased away all the talent.
Yep.
Like, I think Vin Tray, TRA, he went on a podcast recently. And I haven't gotten to, I can't watch all of it because, oh boy, we lost them.
Unless we're not streaming right now.
No, we're good. It's just that I wonder if it. I gotta pay attention. This happens every now and again where like Streamlabs is like, yeah, you're not talking anymore.
Gotcha. I'm watching it on the feed now. It's kind of funny because it looks like I left.
It's like, we stopped talking about Corvettes. I gave you 15 minutes. I'm out.
It's a hard out. I can't do it. It's in my contract. I can't talk about anything else.
It's part of your. At least 1 or 2/3 of all content must be related to the Corvette.
Yep. It's like I will talk about other cars, but.
Or it's like, you know what would make this Brat cooler if it was actually a Corvette?
Yeah. How to make me not a guest on anything ever again? It's like, this guy, fucking A.
Like, I honestly, for my money, if that's something to where like you could legitimately keep up the
act,
like the shtick.
Like, I don't care. It's not a Corvette. I'm like, dude, acknowledge other cars. I'm like, no. I don't.
It's like they don't exist. I don't understand.
Why would you have anything else? I don't understand.
Yeah, like, need a car to get from point A to point B? Corvette. Need a car to haul kids? That's what the wife is for.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, just to be like, I am a hands-off guy when it comes to that. And when they get old enough, I can haul one of them.
Yes. And then we can get them the, I don't know, like a 1980 Corvette that has no value whatsoever.
Yeah. There you go.
But also, Steve, I see you with the
LS Swap Brat.
LS Swap Brat. Check your DM. Check the DMs because
I can't even read it. I keep thinking about bratwurst when he's saying it. I was like, an LS Swap Brat.
The Brat. Like, that's what this was called in Germany.
We're talking about the Brat. So used to Midwest, like that's every time I read that word, it's in the grocery store. So, it's like, yeah,
yeah, I get it now. But what the hell was I saying? But yeah, Pastrana actually did. Now I don't know if this was that car. This goes back to your budgetary question too. Travis Pastrana a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago, built a LS swapped Brat.
Oh, that's cool.
So, in theory, this could have been that car taken to 11 or just a clean sheet build. I just don't. There's not a lot of information about it, and that's another case of like Hoonigan just not being what it was. Like,
right, they used to be like, these are the stats. This is what it in engine it has. They're like proud of it, you know, because
they did a build series on the shoot. They would do a build breakdown of like the first iteration of the Hoonicorn, then the second generation of it, then the Hoona truck, then Pastrana's wagon for his first Gymkhana, and that's just been radio silent. Nothing on this. I'm not saying this is a full-fledged Gymkhana. It might just be. Remember when they did the Gymkhana-esque video on Top Gear?
Right.
That wasn't really a Gymkhana, but it was, for all intents and purposes, a Gymkhana.
It kind of was, yeah. But it's like...
It just wasn't using the Hoonigan production crew.
Right.
So...
It could very much be one of those... I don't know. Either way, it is cool.
And I love that Pastrana's... I love the way his brain works when it comes to building cars. Because it's not like any of us. Like, you know, if you were like looking at a Gymkhana car, you would figure out how to make an all-wheel drive Corvette.
Yeah, well, now I don't have to because the ZR1X. I'd start there, and then.
Yada yada yada, real Corvette. Yada yada yada. Just kidding. It's, but what I.
Yes,
but like for all the things that Hoonigan has done wrong. I do want to mention that they like doing something like this, and I think it's like, hey, remember when we did Gymkhanas? We still do that. You like Travis Pastrana. You liked him when Ken was alive. Like, please come back. And it's just they got like it became it. You saw it with Donut too when they had their exodus.
That's what I was gonna say. It was like when they sold out to whatever company, and that company was just like, you're going with our creative direction now, which was not. You know, you can't corporate up something like that. You know, you can't corporate up Hoonigan. It's just going to go away. I mean, God, I used to remember the Fast Lane Daily, the news talk show with Derek D, also a New Jersey guy. I used to love that show, and they got sold out to The Drive or somebody, and they shut them down. It's like just so weird, such weird stuff sometimes. And I understand if you're like kind of a channel with only a few people, and you're like, hey, we're offering you real big boy money, you know, and they'll always come in and say, we're not changing a thing. We're just, you know, helping finance what you're already doing.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna streamline the process, and next thing you know, your buddy who's been editing every single one of your videos is out, and you know,
because like I said, if that were true, if you could somehow guarantee that, why wouldn't you take that deal? You know, like it sounds great.
Oh, and not for nothing, like
we're boosting your budget, you know, and you're going to be able to do what you're already doing, but faster and bigger. You'd be like, sign me up. And,
you know, and if hypothetically someone was to come along and do that, most of these companies, when they buy a channel and your contract runs out or you decide to leave, there's usually like a 1-year NDA or a non-compete.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you're throwing 6 figures at me or more,
I'll not compete for.
Or for one of those channels, it was probably a massive amount of money. I'll take a year off.
Yeah.
You know, like fuck it. You know, and then I can come back and sort of like rebuild my but like the thing that always got me was, you know, you look at these massively successful YouTube channels for like automotive, right? Like, I only ask this because you know of him, not know of him. You're obviously friends with Tyler, but
I do know of him.
But I could be wrong. I don't know how he handles like some of the other stuff, but I mean, how big's his team? 5-6 people?
No, his team is him.
Right. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
at one point in the last year, he had one employee who just, like I said, edited and did some things for him, but it's back to pretty much just him.
You know, like even so like one employee, and he's built massively successful channel. I know YouTube's kind of doing weird shit lately.
YouTube's killing automotive people right now. I don't know what the algorithm changed, and they're treating cars like guns now. It's weird. Because I talked to, like I said, across the board, some other major creators were feeling viewership being down, despite, major content coming out.
And I've listened to some podcasts, and it's like weird how they like, and it's weird because like some automotive content, I don't agree with it, but like
you understand why it got the way it was.
If you're doing drifting or I don't know if it's for the like street takeover stuff, like the stuff that was just down in the fuck was it? I want to say Tennessee, with all the nonsense that just happened there, like car culture's getting crushed or whatever.
I get it, but the guys I'm talking about, it's like Vin Wiki and stuff is not anything. Like, they're not doing that.
No, that's just cool stories and that's cool history. But like, and there's so much BS. Like I was watching some podcasts recently, and these podcasts, like, while it's not the meat and potatoes of the show, every now and again they'll go down like a YouTube tangent or a content creation tangent. And like the one creator who literally started a new channel, and for like the first month or two, he's uploading a ton of videos. And he's like, I'm doing great. I'm getting like 6-figure views on these videos. And you got to imagine, he's doing like 2-3 a day.
Oh my god.
Long form.
I feel like that would make your content not work, but great.
The prevailing theory has always been that that's like spam.
Yeah.
Spam. Like if you do more than 2. But like there's some creators out there who have figured out that they have such a base that it can muscle the algorithm.
Well,
so that when they launch,
for some people, it's probably true.
So like he was doing, but the short version is he was doing, he'd get 100K views in like a few days or a week, and then all of a sudden in August, it like got cut in half. Like there was a cap put on his content.
August was the shift, I think. Yeah.
And he doesn't even do automotive. I mean, granted, he's edgy and he has to toe a very fine line when it comes to age restricted and all that stuff. But
but like I said, Tyler's like, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to get into a whole algorithm talk, but something happened and everybody felt it.
I mean, we felt it. Like Facebook, by a wide margin, is our biggest, where we make the most right now. It's all short form content, which we're a short form content company. With the exception, obviously, being Hanson's reviews. Mm-hmm. And long form doesn't really do much on Meta's platforms.
No. They are making a big push for short form stuff. So
because it's what people want to watch. Well,
yeah, and it's like when you're getting on your phone, like, I don't necessarily have 20 minutes. I do have, 2 to 5 minutes. Like depending. So
right. Well, I mean, not for nothing, but a reel or a TikTok or a YouTube short with at being capped at 3 minutes, and a lot of people don't use all 3 minutes. That is the perfect content to consume while you're taking a crap.
Oh, absolutely. Because then you go, well, I can watch another one. I can watch another. You just keep scrolling, and it just keeps feeding it to you. And by the time you've gotten your algorithm to feed you stuff that you like, you can, then next thing you know, you're spending a long amount of time watching short form content, which is exactly what they want because they want you to stay on the app for longer. Which is why YouTube used to pay a bunch, because if they could, I mean, they still, do if you can get the views, but they want you to stay on YouTube. And if that's why they reward, like if you were to make a 30-minute video, if people are watching it for 20 of those 30 minutes, they're like, this is great. That's 20 minutes that people spent on YouTube, so there's a whole science behind it. But either way, from what I understand, one of the things they're doing, at least on YouTube's end, is even though I really already felt like I was getting fed videos that were to my liking, it's like they're really micro dialing in on only serving content to people they know will like for sure want it and watch it, instead of kind of that like broader net cast where you'd be like, you like car stuff, here's this. It's like they'll notice you tend to watch a lot more of, well, for me, Corvette stuff. and it's like, or whatever, like that my algorithm is not all Corvettes, guys,
Cor-
believe it or not.
Corvette, comfortable
Yeah.
shoes, Corvette,
Right. No,
grilling
I'm just
tips,
saying,
Corvette.
they would know to serve me up even a lower viewed Corvette video than a video with 300,000 views about the R129 Mercedes SL. It's like, well, which one is Elliott more going to watch, instead of just which is the better video that a car guy would watch, even though I would probably watch, a high viewed video, because like Jason Camisa just came up with another one. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, I watched.
It's on my list, and I'm like, I love that car, and his videos are great. It could be about a Subaru Brat, and I'd love it. It's like, doesn't matter that there's certain content creators that I don't care what their subject is. They're just great,
Right, and that's a. But here's the thing. I seem to get fed whatever I watched last. And what I mean by that is, if I watch, like, I've watched that Jason Camisa video on the Mercedes stuff. I probably should watch it again because I've forgotten most of it, even though I was highly entertained.
That's how good he is. Sometimes
And then if you go, so I'm a atypical YouTube viewer.
Okay.
I'll say that right out. Most of my YouTube viewing is done on my TV. Most of my...
I'm also like that, because I pretty much will only settle down to watch YouTube like at night. Like, if I'm not gonna commit to a long form video in the middle of the day. I mean, most of the time I'm busy during lunch, but if I'm at work at lunch, I'll watch a video while I'm eating. But that's about it. And it doesn't take me that long to eat a sandwich. So half the time I'm like,
But, like, for example, I watched his video. I got some more car history videos.
Yes.
And then, one of my, like, videos I won't watch daily, but I'll watch every now and again, is I'll watch, like, knife making videos. Or, like, Forged in Fire. Right. That sort of stuff. And then the next few things will all be that. And then I'll go and I'll watch, like, John Boy Media. And then it's all sports stuff. And then I'll watch something, like, it's weird. I do want to mention, because he did say something over on the YouTube chat, and he's a fellow guest of the show, and there's no denying just how successful he's been on YouTube. Tony, he goes, YouTube has been messing with what counts as a view behind the scenes. Revenue, and it has been staying the same despite views being down. I have heard. YouTube claims the algorithm didn't change at all.
Which is, I mean, it's very readily apparent that it did.
I mean, who the hell knows? The algorithm could literally have a slider. It's like, we didn't change any of the code, but we slid it this way, right? Like,
right. I mean, I hope that's the case.
It's like content creation, skill-based matchmaking.
Thank you for chiming in, Tony. I can only see Facebook comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's always a mystery, and I'll fall sucker to watch a video about, YouTube made these changes, and I'll watch it for like 7 minutes, and I'm like, this guy doesn't know. It's like, it's like, but it's like, but then it made me click on it, because now I do wonder what the change is and what you can do about it. And
right, but by the time you watch
it's too late.
It's already changed.
Yeah. And they're never going to directly answer it like that. They go, hey guys, update. Like they do this. They send out those little creator emails, where they're like, hey, here's what's new in YouTube. Here's what we're looking at this month. It's not like what they changed with the algorithm. They're never going to.
Oh, those articles to the YouTube bot listening are highly readable, and I love them. Keep coming in. To everyone else, I got one about live streaming today. And it's like, where's the, what the hell was it? Oh, it was, here's games you can play within the YouTube algorithm, or the YouTube ecosystem on your live stream. How's that going to happen? And I'm like, and my first thought is, how's going to be playing your stupid little game going to help me get viewers? And then it clicked. It's like, I'm willing to bet someone playing a YouTube game is going to get a YouTube push.
Yep. And I will say though,
and that's the thing that sucks the most, is that it's not. A lot of it's merit based because people who get successful on YouTube, they obviously have done something correctly, and they continue to do something correctly.
But if you're gonna please the gods, they're gonna.
But it also is like, it's a moving target, right? It's not like having a TV show where viewership is directly correlated to whether or not your TV show continues most of the time.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's all, and like, and as far as service is concerned, it's channel 4, channel 5, channel 36, channel 9. Like, it's there. Now, granted, it's all appointment viewing, which nobody does anymore unless it's a sporting event. But no, it's always very interesting, like, to look at that and see what's going on. Like, there's also a fairly large consensus that more so than the usual Q4 push, because if you're in YouTube and content creation, all of us are like, Q4, let's make the content. This is our time to earn. Ad dollars are being spent for the holidays and obviously all that stuff. But Greg has been talking about this, and he knows that side of the business way better than I do. How that there's apparently going to be an even bigger push this year, so that if you're doing well in Q4, who the hell knows?
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
If you told me,
nobody's gonna know.
If you told me a year ago that if you told me when we were making long form content on YouTube that Facebook was going to be our primary breadwinner, I would have laughed at you.
Yep.
I just flat out would have. At any rate, so, anything else, Elliot? Any other piece of news? Any other car you're excited about? Any questions you have for the Shifting Lanes universe?
Yes. Well, I was like I say, if any of our commenters had any questions, not really. Go watch my latest video, which also didn't get any views, even though it's a freaking 4GT prototype. It was really cool.
Literally a one of one.
Yeah. Don't get to drive those every day or be around them. So go check it out. It's still like fascinating. And I mean, I think it would be fascinating if it was a regular 4GT, but yeah, check that out if you haven't. But no, yeah,
carbon fiber on that thing is fucking. It was like, ooh, carbon fiber.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Like I said, no wonder they didn't make that an option because yikes.
Yeah, man. Well,
it was cool. Like I said, thanks for having me on. It's always a blast. Happy to be here.
You know, it's always fun having you on, and it's we never have nothing to talk about. It just seems like the conversation goes somewhere at some point, whether it's a tangent or not.
Trust me, I was just about ready to tell you about all the other non-car related YouTube videos I've been watching because my recommended page, because I watch it on my TV too, so I'm just kind of scrolling to the right on recommended until I find one that I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
But they are like, it's so all over the map. If you watch it, you'd be like, what is this? What is he like? But it is feeding it to me in a way that I do find something.
Yeah, right, I mean, it does seem to be.
Steve said he's calling out. I just want to say bye to him while he's still watching. See you, Steve, and congratulations again.
Yes, Big Daddy Steve.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's always awesome having you on, man. But
we'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. But for this one, I think we're just gonna wrap that up. And
good.
Thank you to everyone who watched, everyone who